My name is Allison Nimmo, and today I'll be talking to you about all the lessons I learned from my senior year of cheerleading and my most recent injury from it. There are 7 days in a week, 52 weeks in a year, and 884 weeks in my 17 years of life. 10 out of 17 years were spent going to and from cheerleading practices, games, and competitions. Cheerleading has always been a large part of my life. However, I never knew how much it meant to me until my senior year. August of my senior year, I was invited along with 30 other girls and boys throughout Tennessee who were selected through a series of applications and essays to try out for the Tennessee All-State squad. After a long day of interviews, learning new cheers and dances, and performing them for the judges, they eventually announced the 2014 squad, and I was on it. I was in complete shock. I was the first cheerleader from Livingston Academy to have ever been selected to the team. I seemed to have everything going for me up until a week before our biggest competition. It was our last time practicing the routine when my stunt went wrong. Coming down with too much force on my left leg, I felt and heard a loud pop, and I knew something was wrong. I spent the next 3 days getting x-rays and MRIs and waiting for the verdict. Finally, the doctors called us in to deliver the news. I had completely torn my ACL, which meant I would have to have surgery and spend the next 6 months in recovery. Finding out I could no longer cheer the remainder of my senior year was definitely hard for me. I then became very dependent on others. The object I chose to use was my crutch. I chose my crutch because it represents all the people that was there for me throughout this entire experience. So many people were there for me when I needed them. When I needed comfort, my friends were there. When I needed help with the little things, my parents were there. And when I had questions, the doctors were always there to answer them. Because of this experience, I learned several things. The first thing I learned was that it doesn't matter how much you plan your life out, things can and will change. It almost always happens unexpectedly, but you can either make the best or worst of it. The second thing I learned was that with a positive attitude, you can overcome anything. When people say it's going to be okay, they aren't lying. Things may be rough now, but with a positive outlook, you can easily turn any circumstance around. And lastly, I learned that you can't put all your happiness into one thing. Cheerleading was, is, and always will be my passion. I love everything about the sport, but because I had put almost all of my time into it, I didn't realize what all I was missing out on. When I was told I would have to take a small break from the sport, I was devastated. But soon I realized there's so much more to life than just cheerleading. I believe God has a plan and does everything with purpose. I feel as if the purpose behind all this was definitely to open my eyes to all that life has to offer. I do plan to come back to cheerleading once fully healed and hopefully cheer up my sophomore year of college. However, for the time being, I plan on focusing on other things such as bettering myself and spending more time with my friends and family. Life can change in a blink of an eye. You can either let it knock you down or you can rise from the situation and make the most you can out of it. My senior year of cheerleading definitely had its ups and downs, but I know there are greater things to come. I would like to conclude with my favorite verse, Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a good future. Thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoyed my speech.